Jeff, man, what about you, dude? How's everything been going for you? How was your New Year's?
Yeah, New Year's was good. Got really good Christmas news from my mom, so excited about that. But New Year's was crazy. We did a Team Toxic community live stream, and that was insane. I drank
Yeah,
way too much and
I
hated
think we
myself the next
all
day.
got a little too hammered for that.
Yeah,
And I only
uh,
drink like once every 6 months, so I was
yeah.
definitely feeling it.
It was yeah, it was intense. But yeah, overall it was a really good um, holiday season. So
Oh yeah, are you with the Christmas news? Are you okay with that, or are you just gonna leave that?
oh, I mean, so I'd expressed it before.
I think it's kind of awesome, and I think
Yeah,
that'd
no,
be
it
like a
is.
very good heartfelt thing to share.
Yeah. So the beginning of 2020, my mom got diagnosed with cervical cancer. Um, she's fine now. She went through all the radiation, all the surgery, and all that good stuff, and came back after she went and did her last doctor's appointment, cancer free.
That's
So
awesome.
Hell yeah,
yeah,
I love
Yay!
uh,
that.
Amazing,
That's
dude.
awesome.
I love
so
that.
yeah, we were super happy about that. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be things that she might have to do in the future, just to like prevent it or whatever. They don't know if it's
Hmm.
going to come back, but yeah. So we're
But
all
she's good now, and that's
pretty
all that
happy.
matters. And she is a
Yeah,
very very sweet
Awesome.
woman.
yeah. I love her to death. Kind of have to, but other than that,
Oh
That's great
man.
news.
yeah.
For anybody that's new here, this is the Rundown Podcast, and we basically just go over the gaming news stories that have hit us this week. But unfortunately, this week there's not a lot going on with it being New Year's and Christmas, and I'm pretty sure a lot of those people are on Christmas break. So we're gonna go over a couple of the things that did happen this week, and we're gonna also cover a lot of the top big game stories from last year. Um, all right, y'all excited?
Yes.
So the first thing that I want to touch on, which I thought was super interesting, and maybe y'all heard about this too, but it's the 4K 240 frames per second. Sounds good. Sounds good so far.
Yeah, that sounds good so far.
Yeah.
But
What
this
is
is the
this?
kicker, okay? Here's the kicker. The 4K 240 frames per second KFC console is real.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
real.
Oh, it totally is.
It's totally real.
Oh, no way.
Yep. And it
I
keeps
thought
your
that
chicken
was
air
just a
fryer.
meme.
I was about to make a joke and be
Air
like, "Is he
fryer?
talking about like a blender or something right now?"
that
Nope.
looked like an egg thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, that's hilarious.
It
I
is
had no
real,
idea
and it
that
will
was
keep your
real.
chicken warm. Um,
I'm
I
into
love
it.
you. I love you, Colonel
Yeah.
Sanders. Before I get into that, did anybody see the like trailer or screenshots for like the Colonel Sanders movie that's coming out with like what's his name?
Oh my, John
Mario?
Stamos.
Yeah,
Or wait, no, Mario.
Mario Lopez.
No,
Mario Lopez.
Mario
Yeah,
Lopez.
Mario Lopez?
I was
Oh,
hoping that
sounds
wasn't
Yes,
amazing.
real.
it's
That,
gonna
that
be
was real?
phenomenal.
unfortunate.
Honestly, it's
Unfortunately,
gonna
yeah.
Um,
be so good.
and this
We're all
is
gonna watch it.
I quote finger licking powerful. I
Yeah,
actually really like that.
that's like on the poster, right? I think I saw that. I was like, oh,
am-
that can't.
So
That's
good.
That
amazing.
can't be.
So
This is from IGN from Adam Bankhurst. This was back on December 23rd here. Move over PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Kentucky Fried Chicken has announced its KFC console, a VR-ready Intel-powered PC capable of 4K ray tracing, gameplay up to 240 frames per second, and a chicken chamber that will keep your chicken warm as you can. I can't even keep it straight.
So good.
Chicken chamber. Oh,
Uh,
I
the
can say so many inappropriate things, but I won't.
The KFC console was technically first unveiled a day after the PlayStation 5 reveal event, and although many thought it may have been just fun marketing joke by KFC, it's very real. The KFC case is built by Cooler Master, and a patent chicken chamber is perhaps its marquee feature. Never risk letting your chicken go cold again. Thanks to the patented chicken chamber, the description reads, utilizing the system's natural heat and airflow system, you can now focus on your gameplay and enjoy hot, crispy chicken between rounds. The KFC is housed in a custom Cooler Master NC100 chassis and includes an Intel Nuke 9 and an Asus Power GPU that can be swapped out. It also has 2 Seagate Barracuda 1TB SSDs that have a PCIe NVMe speeds that are 6 times faster. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there for a minute because here's already my argument with that. This tiny ass console already has 2 1TB, so 2TB SSDs in it, and they could only give me 660 in a PS5. There's
Do we
something
want it?
very wrong with that statement.
Do you want to
I
piss
can't-
me off this early?
I can't wait until there's KFC exclusive games.
Oh my-
The release date and pricing for
First
the
on
KFC
KFC.
console have yet to be given, but hopefully they won't be as tough to find as the PS5 and Xbox Series X. KFC has been working on its way into the hearts and minds of many with not only its food and the KFC console, but also with its official KFC dating simulator and its Lifetime movie that stars Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it's real.
Ah.
Can you imagine like the KFC specific game though? Like somebody stole like the secret recipe, right? And then you have to go and find it, but it's like a first person shooter and it's just like gory as hell.
Yeah.
But it's like a AAA title, like Last of Us or Uncharted.
They mocap Mario. It's a third person shooter. They mocap Mario Lopez to play the Colonel to go get his stolen recipe.
Right.
I love
Uh,
everything
And
about
it plays like Horizon.
Not Your Parents. What do you think about this?
I think that is the best thing I've ever heard.
I can't
And we're
believe it's
starting
real.
off 2021 with a bang.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing the article on it, but I had no idea it was beyond a joke. I didn't know it was real. So that's intense.
I guess
That's
the
what's
world's
great,
got a lot
though.
of making up to do.
It's not exclusive to just keeping your chicken warm though. So that's
so
amazing.
insane.
Right.
I wonder because I saw a meme about it the other day, and it's like you heard about the KFC console where they're calling McDonald's is coming out with one, and it's called like the
No way, are they?
McHub or something like that. And I was like, no way! So I thought it was just everyone's gonna start memeing.
Yeah.
But if the
Oh my
KFC one is
gosh.
real, I wonder if the McDonald's one is real.
I have to
I wouldn't
disbelieve
put it
everything
past them.
now. Right.
I wouldn't either. It'd be great.
No.
I want a Taco Bell one.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'd be all about that.
Yeah.
The McDonald's one is they're gonna have a game like where you just repair ice cream machines all day.
It's a simulator. You just repair.
Surprise! It's also in VR.
And it's literally the most difficult game on the market.
Uh, Evan, Jeff, what do y'all think, man?
I'm all for it, dude.
I was trying to find a price point on it and I couldn't find one anywhere.
No, it hadn't been released yet.
Oh god.
I'm all about that.
If that's something you get in stock right now versus everything else that's not in stock.
Mhm.
All right, I have 2 questions for this.
Crazy.
My first
Yeah.
question is, how much shit are you gonna give me if I buy one?
None.
My second question is, how much shit are you gonna give me if I try and stream on it?
Oh,
If we
dude,
were
do
on
it.
MySpace,
Gotta
you'd
put it
be
right
my
there.
top one after
I'm gonna
that.
give you
Put it right
shit
there
if you
next
do
to
the opposite of both of those things.
If I find out that you have a KFC console and you're not playing it,
Yeah.
we're gonna have issues.
I'm
100%.
I know what I'm buying with my stimulus check.
Just put in your specs KFC PC. Nothing else.
And I'm looking at that Go XLR on my stimulus check.
Dude. If you could find, are they in stock?
On Amazon, it's in stock like January 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like
So you'll get
nothing
it
is
like the
such a bummer.
12.
Crazy.
Yeah, I want one so bad.
Now, see,
Wild.
here's. No, that's a great. I agree with what she said. I think that's a great way to start off 2021.
But wait, what do the controllers look like? Like that's what I'm curious.
They're in the shape of chicken breasts.
I
know
like-
that much.
Sweet. You know, you
And the
unplug them.
docking, the docking station, it's like wireless charging, but it's a bucket, and you just put them inside.
And
Okay.
they'll disconnect, but they'll be drumsticks. They'll be like the shape of drumsticks. Yeah.
Oh, that's the VR shit, right? So you're just like waving the drumsticks around.
Yeah. And they
And you
come with
gotta-
rumble packs
whole
that,
setup
are, that look
is
like
chicken
headset.
dipping containers.
The headset's a chicken head, and just
I need
They
this
need to.
right
they
now.
need to call us.
This is
Honestly, I'd fill
real.
it with taquitos, if I'm being honest.
I need to get on that taquitos kick, man. I need to gain some weight.
No, I need to get
Oh,
off it, dude.
taquitos
I was
is
eating like
the
20
life.
taquitos every day. It has not been kind.
No,
No, that just sounds awesome.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
exactly.
240 frames per second at 4K. 2 terabytes of PCI NVMe.
That is insane.
Me too, Strat.
And I
That'd be
like
expensive.
Cooler Master. Like they make some
Mhm.
good stuff. And Asus Asus is every nerd's favorite. That's what I got in my PC. Okay, cool.
Crazy.
So
I'm getting hungry.
yeah.
Oh,
No shit.
starving now.
What do we think that costs?
If I had to put a
Well, so
I'm gonna-
far they're doing everything right, so I feel like they're not going to fuck it up on the price point. I'm hoping like maybe like 4.
I'm gonna
between
laugh
4
my
and
ass
5.
off. Yeah, if
I'd
it's
be cool
like
with 4.
if it's literally like $200 to $300 cheaper than the PS5 and it has better specs and is more readily available, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
More
I'm
storage
gonna
for
kick.
sure.
I'm gonna kick Jim Ryan in the nuts. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. But like,
I'll drive you, dude.
second story of the day here. Nintendo. Wow, combine those two words together. Nintendo and Reggie had to politely decline an offer to work with Kanye West on a video game. Former president of Nintendo America, Reggie, has revealed that he had to politely decline an offer to work with Kanye West on a video game concept due to the amount of other projects that were currently in development at the company. As reported by Nintendo Everything, Reggie shared the story on his Talking Games with Reggie and Harold podcast, which is raising money for the New York Video Games Critics Circle's nonprofit mentoring and work. And he stated in that meeting, happened at an E3 many, many years ago. Kanye visited the Nintendo booth during E3 and was even able to spend a bit of time. He then requested a meeting with Reggie, and the two ended up meeting at one of Kanye's offices in Calabasas, California. Part of it was talking about what he was up to. Reggie explained he was experimenting with a piece of video game content, and he wanted reactions to it. He comes out and says, I want to work with Nintendo. We've had so many different projects. Nintendo is going on. The possibility of doing something with Kanye West just wasn't there, and I had to find some way to politely decline this opportunity to work with him. I told him, Kanye, you don't want to work with us because we're tough, we're hard. All we do is push for the very best content. We would not be the type of partner you would want to work with. And he looks at me and says, Reggie, you're exactly the type of partner I want. Because of that reason, it's like, oh my gosh. Pretty sure it's probably not the words that were used. Reggie said that not only was that meeting interesting, Kim Kardashian West was also there. While the project never saw the light of day, Reggie and Nintendo both felt that Kanye has such a passion for the video game space, and he's a creator. Something tells me that was not the only reason he declined.
I'm wondering if Kanye was like, I don't know, man, 50 Cent did it. Like,
That'd be a very Kanye reaction.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it wouldn't be him if it wasn't top.
why Travis Scott got the Travis Scott meal at McDonald's?
It's true.
Like,
I still don't even know who that is.
Kanye is so
Your
extra.
children do. Just ask them.
Yeah,
Dude, no
right.
shit, man.
is he a Fortnite character?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What would a Kanye West video game even look like?
Delusional.
Yeah, it'd probably be.
Like an acid trip.
Yeah,
God.
it'd be Hellblade 2.
Oh,
Katie,
I'm excited
Damn.
for that sequel.
I don't even know. He's so off the walls that if I wouldn't even. I have no idea. Because I'd say, dolphins. And he's like, nah, it's cake. Like, what? It's so weird.
What the fuck?
He's crazy. Exactly. He's crazy.
That caught me off guard. What is she talking
Michael's
about?
like, oh my God, you're right.
Well, I mean,
It is
Kanye
fake.
West is in the news every other week for something different. Like, did he not learn
Yeah.
from Soldier Boy? Like,
No.
Soldier Boy tried to release his own console, and it was just terrible. It was very,
Oh,
very
I was
bad.
like, where's he going with that?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, there's also that, and then you got to remember, Vin Diesel is now Art 2 developer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see that.
That
hate
I'm
that game.
actually I don't know if I'll play Arc 2 just because it's not the type of game that I necessarily play, but I would very much like to see how it looks.
But it's also
Yeah.
because Vin Diesel's in it.
Yeah, I'd be curious just to see, just to play it enough to see.
I want to see like an art, like the art game, but in the movie scenes from the first Fast and the Furious.
Okay, cool. So
Happy birthday, True.
third story of the night. I don't know if you've heard about that, but this is also from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. He's writing all the good stuff. Rubik's Cube movie in development.
What?
Do I need to read? I don't know if I need to read the article for that.
Wait, can you just repeat what you said one more time?
Rubik's Cube movie in development.
Interesting.
All right, no, that is what you said. Just
I did not hear about that one.
Sounds like a real brain buster.
Why?
I'm not gonna try to pronounce this guy's name. But the entertainment group and Endeavor Content are teaming up with a feature film based on the iconic toy known as the Rubik's Cube. As reported by Deadline, Hyde Park Entertainment is also partnering with Glassman Media, The Wall, to create a game show based on the global brand of the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube was invented by a Hungarian sculptor and professor of architecture Erno Rubik in 1974. In 1980, the puzzle was licensed by Rubik and sold to the Ideal Toy Corporation. Since then, the Rubik's Cube has sold over 450 million units worldwide. As of 2018, amateur and professional speed cubers from all over the world compete for the puzzle-based glory in the Rubik's Cube World Championship battles. I've had a personal and nostalgic connection with the Rubik's Cube from my early days in India. Ashok also said, I am thrilled to partner with Endeavor Content and look forward to creating a wonderful and complex Rubik's universe.
Okay, that's a difference. I was thinking it was going to be like the Emoji Movie.
That's exactly what I had in my head.
Yeah.
But from that, it seems like it's going to be a movie about the Rubik's Cube, but maybe like how it changed somebody's
Maybe like
life.
documentary, but like
Type
following
thing.
those kind of people, maybe.
Well, they have the Speed Cuber documentary, which my son, for whatever reason, is fascinated by. I've watched that documentary 3 times. But so they also have a game show, which is also in the works. But then this is making it sound like a little bit more, let's see, featuring to team up for a feature film based on the iconic toy. So I'm very curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, that's not what I
Strange,
expected.
yeah.
There's a lot of really
like-
interesting things happening this year.
I hope it's like Transformers, to be honest with you.
Ooh.
That'd be kind of cool.
The Allspark is really just a Rubik's Cube.
I like where you're going with that, Jeff.
It's all been prequels this whole time.
Jeff, can you read me your Rubik's Cube script that you have? What you
got? He's sitting with Rubik's Cube, solves it. The end.
Where's the
Stay tuned
transformation?
It's in the after credits scene.
Okay. Coming in 2023.
It's like you know how they do at the end of the Marvel movies, is like Rubik's will return or whatever.
Could we possibly see that in The Mandalorian?
I'd watch that.
That's tough, man. don't throw my good shit into the bad shit, dude.
So I need to. This is what we'll do, okay? Since this is gonna be a feature film, I'm gonna ask this. Naldo and Britt,
Okay.
when this film comes out, can we all watch this film, and then can we get back together and do a review on this feature film?
Yes.
I would be
I would be
offended
down
if you
for that.
didn't offer.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm gonna be sick that day, I think.
that's fine because I have 2, 3, and 4 transitions for this OBS. So either way, I've got Evan right here with me.
No, I mean, what's the release date?
It doesn't have it. It just says a feature film is in the talk. So you know it'll get delayed about 20 times and
Thank
you know
God.
everything like
So
that.
curious what that is.
There's so many news stories coming out that like it's leaving us with more questions than answers, and I'm curious about everything.
Mhm.
Did any of you see
true.
the Nintendo World that they made?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
It
it's like
looks
yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Mhm.
I
And-
can't wait.
I know. And they're bringing them to the US at some point.
Oh, sweet.
So you don't have to go to Japan, but that'd be
Oh.
awesome.
It'd be cool to go to Japan.
Yeah,
That'd be
they
so
made it
cool.
look so like
Yeah.
exactly how it does in the games. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to go to Japan and go to Nintendo World, or do you want to go to like Orlando?
It
You know what I
depends.
mean?
Japan.
Do you want to
Japan.
hear Mario in Japanese or English?
Japanese.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah.
Never
It's
heard
so
that.
weird.
Never heard it.
I didn't until I watched like the reveal video, and it's crazy.
I'm gonna
Yeah. It's
pull that up
gorgeous.
real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see any videos of it. I just saw all the pictures. It's just crazy how much it looks like so lifelike.
Yeah.
Wild.
And it's like interactive. You get like these bands, and you can walk up to like the cubes and like hit them, and you get coins and like all this crazy
Yeah, it's so
stuff.
tight.
That's
They
awesome.
have like a
amazing.
like an interactive like a Toad cafe.
Oh, this would be
It
so
looks
neat.
amazing.
That's
I'm
super cool.
always like fascinated by like the food names and stuff that they have in those parks.
Mm-hmm.
Strat. I think like Six Flags has weird names for the pizzas.
Oh yeah, probably.
It's like if you
See,
go
the
to like
older I get,
Harry Potter World or something like that. Like,
Oh yeah. Don't you said the magical word. I'm
Oh,
gonna
Can
talk
we all
about
play that
for
Harry
the rest
Potter
of the
game that's
time
coming
now.
out?
yeah, can
Hey,
we?
welcome to my podcast, guys.
I love Harry Potter. I will definitely be playing that game when it comes
Yeah, I'm
out.
so excited for that RPG, dude.
Woo-hoo. Me too.
Oh,
Hey Jeff, are you gonna get it? Why don't you get it? And he'll convince me for the next year and a half, 2 years, and then I'll get it.
It don't take that
Yeah.
long to convince you.
It's getting
See,
a
if
little
you
bit
want to, if you
easier,
want to
but-
learn anything about Jeff, is he's against things, but if you peck and prod just enough, he will change his
Mhm.
mind.
you just gotta chisel away.
Yeah, you just gotta chisel away, and I promise, I'm never getting a PC. Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. And he played his first game on mouse and keyboard today, not including Valor.
Hey, we're trying to get
Yeah.
Britain to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Thanks for
my
letting
hands.
the
My
rest
hand
of
still
us
does this.
down.
We're doing Remnant today, and that was fun. But it's like the muscle memory and like
Yeah.
the key, like remembering where certain keys are and shit. And I was just like, I was struggling because like I would go into panic mode, and I'm like, and I like just hit random keys, and like the dumbest shit would happen. I'm like, that's not what I wanted.
Mm-mm.
How do you guys like that game? 'Cause I know
So
you guys, a
funny.
couple of you guys were playing together.
I
Yeah,
love it.
It was super fun. Super
It's
It looked-
weird though. I've played the first section of the game like 6 times, just helping other people through.
Yeah.
And in Jeff's playthrough, it was an entire different game. Just
See, that's
Well,
completely
it's
I
pretty
like
different.
much
that.
it's pretty much different for
cool.
everyone, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
a-
like
it's procedurally
normally
generated. so-
yeah, it's procedurally generated, but I'm talking like the areas were different.
So
Like
like,
instead of
okay.
going to the
So
swamp,
cool.
we went to like a jungle, and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, I fought like 6 bosses I've never even known about.
We were
Crazy.
looking at Kyle last night. I think we came into his stream after hours, and Britt
Oh, yeah.
immediately was like, "That looks like something we would play."
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
It looks just like the Warhammer Vermintide game. Like I was like, oh, is he playing
Yeah,
the same game?
Vermintide. Yeah.
Mhm.
He was like, oh no, he's playing Remnant. I was like, what? Like, someone's
Yeah.
playing.
So
I'm not
yeah, you
fighting
guys gotta
rat
get
people.
Remnant, and you gotta get Dying
Yeah.
Light, and we can all play.
Yes. Done.
the only downside about Remnant though is it's only 3 people to a party.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
only
snap.
downside.
Yeah.
you're out,
so
Britt.
You'll at least have.
We'll just take turns.
But yeah,
That would be
Remnant
worth
on Epic right now. Remnant is like $10
Oh,
for the
nice.
base
Oh, okay.
game because it's on sale, but then they're giving you like a $10 off holiday coupon. So that makes it $10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
All
definitely
right.
we'll do that.
We'll just not really a brief intermission here, but just because we've got about 27 people in here. Just to give you a little recap, this is the Rundown Podcast, Charleston's own gaming podcast. As always, I'm your host alongside the man of the hour, Mr. Jeff, above me here, the streamer Evan to the left of him, and we have very, very special guest this week, Not Your Parents, GNS, and we're recapping the gaming news for what little bit has come out in the past 4 days, and we're about to kind of hit into some stuff following 2020, the year that we all wish we could forget.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
start.
really happy it went by as fast as it did though.
it did.
Yes.
Like it zoomed by.
Fastest year alive.
Mhm.
It,
Mhm.
it was like the longest Band-Aid pull ever.
Yep.
Well, speaking of Band-Aid pools, and this is still hurting a few people out there as it is now, I think which was one of probably the biggest stories of 2020, which was also the most long-awaited game, Cyberpunk 2077. Multiple delays. It's a disastrous launch. Bug-filled game that had been in works for 8 years or so. It's hard to pick out a game that's been more highly anticipated than Cyberpunk 2077 in recent memory. Originally announced in 2012, CD Projekt Red's marketing for the project sold fans on a deep world driven by player choice in a living city. However, 2077's multiple delays have defined much of the game's legacy and certainly much of 2020's gaming news. It's clear now why the game had to be pushed back from its original April release date to September, then November, and then finally December. The PC version of the game has had its own share of troubles, but the PS4 and Xbox One versions are still riddled with issues from inconvenient bugs to frequent crashing issues. CG Projekt Red has promised fixes for the problems, but it has left some wishing that the game was pushed even further out.
Just real quick, Kill the
Kilobyte Keith.
Kilobyte.
Keith. I can't read today. I just rated with Party
That's
Babe.
me
Just wanna say
all
thank you.
the time. I cannot
Thank
read.
you.
Thank you, Kilobyte Keith. This is the Rundown Podcast. We hope you enjoy.
Sorry for butchering that, by the way.
What's up?
Toby.
Oh, it's
I said
okay.
sorry.
So I think fans of the show have definitely gotten much of Jeff and I's kind of reaction to it, and Evan's as well. But Evan hasn't really had that many issues. What's your take on all this?
On Cyberpunk?
Yeah, just the delays and the issues and the crashes and the bugs and kind of what they've hardly done so far.
I mean, what they say, they pretty much ignored the old gen consoles over PC and next gen. Yeah, I haven't really had any like game breaking issues. I've had to restart the game a couple times, but nothing really big. I thought it was an amazing game though. It's all stuff that they'll work out, you know. So like them pulling it from the store and stuff. I don't think they really need to go that far. Maybe if anything, just put like a little disclaimer on it, being like, "Look, this game's having some issues. Purchase at your own risk." But I mean, long story short, they're gonna work through the bugs. They're gonna get it running the way that it's supposed to. So it's really just a waiting game. So
not your
we're
parents.
just luckier than others, I guess.
What's your take on all this?
We've been kind of hesitant on purchasing it. We've had a lot of friends who stream or that don't stream that play it. And it seems like, at least from what I'm hearing, is that they've maybe didn't ignore but underestimated it on older consoles, like what Evan was saying. But like The Witcher 3 when it came out, I know that was a hot mess and eventually got massaged out, and now that's like one of the best games ever. Everyone talks so highly of it.
Even the Skyrim launch was rocky, right?
Yeah, Skyrim too. I mean,
Yeah.
I played Skyrim on the PS3, and it almost became like a meme of how bad it was. Gave it some of its charm. So I'm like, I'm just gonna play this game. And sometimes it make you rage, but Cyberpunk's definitely a game I want to check out. But yeah, I didn't let all the bad news about the old consoles kind of deter us from playing it later.
Good. I like that.
We and the only reason we haven't played this, we've been so deep in like we just started Warhammer and this dinosaur looking Left 4 Dead game. And just stuff like that. No other reason. Not because of the bad news, but we kind of have faith, and I think they're going to massage it out.
So
you guys have a nice collection of games that you bounce back and forth between, like Back 4 Blood, Killing Floor, Fall Guys, even. So that's pretty awesome. I need to come up with a schedule for shit.
So we, Naldo, me and you, we both work in somewhat of an IT field. Yours a lot better than mine. So is there an excuse for the game releasing like it did? I mean, is that okay? Should they have just pushed it back? Like, I understand every game is going to have bugs. Like, I get that. There's always going to be kinks you have to work out. But then there's other times when you look at a game like this and you think to yourself, okay, this has been in development for 8 years. In your eyes, do you agree that maybe it shouldn't have released yet? Should it have been delayed more?
Absolutely. I think it could have waited,
Mhm.
especially with all the games that were coming out and everything that was going on. I think it could have afforded to wait.
Mhm.
But I think
Yeah.
maybe the hype bubble that came, through the season, maybe they're trying to be that thing that saved 2020.
Mhm.
Maybe all that pressure kind of like made them do it, and then maybe they felt they had enough of a train or a fan base moving forward that was going to try to carry them the next couple months,
It's
through
like
fixing all the problems.
it's like that star. Excuse me.
Because how easy was it that they fixed or supposedly fixed a lot of the problems where this game's running on dual core processors now and stuff? Is what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but
Mhm.
I heard they just like, oh, here's a patch and it works now on older stuff. And
Yeah.
would it have been
I
hard
was-
to do that in the beginning? Maybe.
I've been thinking about that. It kind of comparing it to that Star Citizen game that they crowdfunded, and they've done like $300 something million of crowdfunding money, and the game's still not out yet. And that game's
Mhm.
been in development for just about as long.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and like they're not might not be an excuse for it. I just don't want to see it like I don't want to see the game fail.
Yeah.
Like and they've released 2 patches that were like 16, 17 gigs a piece to try to fix all the bugs and glitches and crashes and all that stuff. And it's getting better. It really is. So I just want to hopefully it bounces back.
Do we see the game having a resurgence like the Division 2 and hopefully, I can only say hopefully because it hasn't yet, but hopefully what Anthem will do as well. Cuz I
Make a
know that
comeback?
yeah, cuz I mean I know they're already talking about Anthem 2.0 and I mean
Oh, yeah,
Division
I think
Division
it'll be fun.
2 was in the same state. It dropped, you had bullet sponge enemies, it was a terrible game at launch and then they kind of
That was
ignored
the
it there
first.
for a while. Go ahead. What's up?
That was the first one. The first one, it kind of
Yeah,
started out as one thing, and
the
then it
first one.
developed into something that was completely different. And then the devs pretty much came out and said that, yeah, the game is broken. We understand this. We're working on it. And then it was just quiet
And
for months.
it was,
And then
yeah.
they just drop a huge free update and pretty much salvage the broken game.
And it's amazing. Like it went from
Yeah.
being one thing that you saw at E3 to coming out to this completely different game that was terrible and then was able to bounce back. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I mean you and Jeff would know this a lot more than I would. But wasn't Destiny and Destiny 2 kind of the same way? Maybe not to that extent, but weren't they kind of bad in their own way?
Destiny's got this. I don't know if it's a business model, but what they like to do is they put out a base version of a game, let it kind of like do a couple things, and then die out, and then they resurge it like every year or so, and they'll do a huge update. There'll be like new raids, new updates, bug fixes, all that. So they like let people get pissed off enough
Mm-hmm.
to where like they're like, oh, hey, if we put this out, then this will bring them back, or it'll
Right.
smooth everything over. Like they're weird about it, but I think that was mostly back during their Activision days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit.
It's a love-hate thing with me when it comes to Destiny because they do a lot of reskins. And, this month it's scout rifles that are amazing. And then this month it's this month it's that. And I don't like losing all the stuff that I earned, So there's that also. But, I mean, it's just they reskin shit. They put some red on it. They reverse it. I'm just like, fuck, dude.
Do something different.
Yeah, like it's been how many years, and we really don't have any new like enemies. Like there's variants of the enemies, but ultimately it's the same.
Well,
thing.
this new update, like there's like not a new race of enemies per se, but there's like different enemy types within the races that we already have. So like
right,
there's
variant.
Yeah, but they're not variants of what already exists. They're different, but in the same race.
They took my Fatebringer. That's really what it comes down to.
That's 4 years ago.
I want it back, bro.
Do you
Never
think,
die.
Like, the early access model works better than like an early access or a beta? Because there's a lot of games out there that are super popular that are either they're calling it early access or beta,
Right.
And people buy them and play them, and then they're still in that category. But it gives them, I don't know if that gives them like kind of a barrier to not get hate because they're still working on it. Because that Dino game we started playing is early access, and it's got its flaws, but they've been rolling out updates slowly, and
Mhm.
I think
It's like it's like the equivalent of like, now don't get mad,
yeah,
but
we're
Yeah.
not done yet.
I think that does give them a little more room to work with, a little wiggle room, I guess, when it comes to their content. But I don't know, Destiny just, I don't know.
So let me ask you this question, and this goes out to everybody. When do you call these games? When do you draw the line between basically making different variants of everything that's already going on to just coming out with another game? Because like you said with Destiny 2, you've got a game that's basically reskinning itself every other season. But and I guess that's my, it's Division 2 is the same way. But that makes me
kind of like the online. I do kind of like the idea of vaulting some stuff and then
Mhm.
just releasing new content. Because I mean, once Destiny 2 came out, I
Excuse
haven't
me.
really played Destiny 1. So I mean, vaulting, it's pretty much the same thing, except I don't have 4 different games. So I mean, I like that aspect of it. That's pretty neat.
So okay, so so not necessarily that there needs to ever be a line drawn between, okay, we've had enough of this one, let's go ahead and start making another one.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
I think
change it up a
the
bit, or change it
the
up
way
enough.
that the way that Bungie is operating Destiny, I think that works for that game. They're
Mhm.
able to push some things aside that were maybe not as successful or not played very much. They're able to kind of move the story along progressively with updates and DLCs or expansion, whatever. I don't think Bungie necessarily has to come out with another game. Whereas the Division could probably do the same thing, honestly.
Well, and that was going to be my next question. If you're in their positions, do you do kind of make your own model of what Destiny 2 is doing, or do you just cut it and say, okay, let's go ahead and start making another one?
That's a good question.
I think it comes down to a lot of pre-prep, right? Like you have to see what is ahead before you even know what's ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how well is this game going to do? Well, what kind of content are we going to provide to these people? All that stuff. So you have to know what direction that game's going to take before you even release it in order to go ahead and prepare for a second one. Like movies do the same thing, but it's also like a lot of these companies have a fan base that are loyal, right? That's why people buy the same Call of Duty every year.
Very true.
I guess,
Like,
yeah.
they already know.
I guess that's kind of was my big question is like, how long down the road for games as a service before you kind of draw that line and say, okay, this one's coming to an end. Let's go ahead and start working on a new one. Exactly. Make you think there for a second.
I kind of think that like games with like seasons,
Mhm.
they're able to kind of do like the incremental content drops, whereas other games that are more story based, I think maybe do like the game, a couple DLCs, and then have the other one.
Right.
Separate it that way. But for seasonal games like Apex or Call of Duty or Destiny, you can kind of incrementally move it along without dropping a new one.
Next
Unless with Call of Duty, you change like time, like eras.
Well, see, the thing about Destiny 2 is there's so much lore behind Destiny. So
Yeah,
that's kind of why I asked that question. All right, next story of the evening. We had a lot of companies last year buy up a lot of smaller companies. And I personally love that. I think that's great. Microsoft was able to acquire Bethesda last year. Microsoft has been on a sort of a spending spree for the last few years, picking up major studios like Obsidian Entertainment, Double Fine. This year, however, Microsoft announced its acquisition of Bethesda and ZeniMax, making for one of the company's largest purchases. The move adds a number of major IPs to Microsoft's roster, including The Elder Scrolls and Fallout, among many others. Bethesda has always had a strong working relationship with Microsoft and Xbox, so the studio does seem like a natural fit with the brand. Plus, it doesn't mean all the studio's games are going to be exclusive, with Microsoft promising that exclusivity will be handled on a case-by-case basis. Not your parents, what you think?
I think it's a good move, especially with big companies like that. And to be kind of outside of that, like all of us stream, so like when Corsair acquired Elgato, it felt like Elgato was still a standalone company, but they then had.
See, you just taught me something new. I didn't realize Corsair acquired Elgato.
Yeah, they acquired them, and what happened is Elgato still acted independently underneath their Corsair, but we got all these nice new products. Like we got some things that some people thought were silly, like the smaller key light, the smaller Stream Deck, but then we had more affordable capture cards, internal capture cards, and stuff like that. So I'm hoping the same kind of thing happens with Microsoft and Bethesda, where there's not like this long year wait period when things, need to be.
So that part you actually won't have to worry too much about, because there was an article released when they did this merge, was that Xbox still wants Bethesda and what was the other one? But Bethesda and ZeniMax, they still want them to act independently. Like they're still gonna have hearsay here and there, but they still want them to do their own thing. So I think the article, like, don't quote me on it, but it stated somewhere along the lines of, they still want to give them as much control as possible.
That's great.
Yeah, they have more financial backing now.
Right, exactly. And that was my reason by saying, like, I agree with it so much, because you have games of the year, not this past year, but say like the year before, you had an independent game like Untitled Goose Game that won Game of the Year. Like, nobody would ever think of something like that to have ever won a Game of the Year, but for big companies to come in and still give them so much control, but not let them change the way that they're not necessarily doing things, but also give them that financial backing, which to me just makes the more smaller independent companies even bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Evan, did y'all have anything I wanted to add to it?
Well, I was just going to say, like, a lot of times, though, because gaming developing companies are selfish a lot of times, and they don't necessarily, like, just put their money there and then step back. Like, they're like, we want it out now. That needs to fit our deadline. Like, this is what you have to do. And it's the same thing with Anthem. It wasn't necessarily BioWare. It was EA. And they're like, you need to make this in this time frame and get it out this quick.
That's a bad word on the podcast, Jeff.
What?
EA.
Anthem?
No,
EA.
Yeah. It's a bad word.
I was like, because like, I'm such an asshole. I was like, oh, maybe I did say something. But the parent company wants to take as much control over the IP as possible, and a lot of times, like, those companies don't get that freedom to do what they want. That's why Bungie broke away from Activision.
But see, here's why I don't think that's going to happen, because Sony and PlayStation are all about making those AAA titles as big as possible. But Microsoft's not like that. They want to bring up all these, and that's why they've bought in the past year so many independent studios, because they know that independent studios are on the rise. Like No Man's Sky was an independent game. You had Untitled Goose Game. Minecraft, which is $1 billion company now. Same thing, was made by an independent company. And they know where the games are at. And I think if anything, they leave it under their control. Of course, have a little say here and there, but give them the financial backing. That's it. Ball's in their court from now on.
I think it's gold if they just kind of leave them to control creative freedom with everything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. But with that being said, we also roll into the next story of one of the most shocking events of the year, which I almost did this. One of the most shocking events of the year involved Mixer's shutdown. While the streaming service never quite rivaled its competitor Twitch, Microsoft was heavily invested in the platform, integrating it with Xbox devices in hopes to attract more users. With the big-name streamers like Ninja signing exclusivity contracts, it seemed like it was here to stay. Then abruptly, Microsoft announced that it would be shutting down. The last few weeks were a difficult time for small streamers that had fostered communities on the platform, along with everyone else that had invested interest in the service. In Mixer's absence, Microsoft has opted to partner with Facebook Gaming through the partnership, although the partnership hasn't made the waves that Mixer did, even if it was short-lived. What do we think? Hit me with it.
Sucks for everybody that
wanna
put all
know.
that time into Mixer.
We had some
Awful.
I streamed on Mixer once because I don't like to give like a full opinion of a platform until I at least try it to see
Right.
what the experience was like. We had a lot of friends that long story short, I had my own channel before we had this channel, and I had taken at the Mixer for like a night. But we had some friends that moved over there that were kind of like in the MMO space, and they felt that Twitch was maybe a little too saturated. So they went there, became Mixer partners, were very successful, and then shut down. They came back. I don't think they've ever found that same success on Twitch.
That's insane.
That sucks, man.
So that's my only like point of reference. But other than that, I mean, I feel like if you have a really strong, tight knit community and they follow you from platform to platform, kind of like Doc with YouTube and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if that means you should be doing more on the side, or if that's like I can't see why Mixer would be easier to view for a viewer than Twitch or YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, but congrats to Ninja for that $30 million payout.
Yeah,
from-
him and
Bro,
Shroud
he got
are
that money
bitter.
either way. Like he signed that deal, got that money, and they're like, "Oh, if they're closing down, I still get to keep the money, but I'm going over here." Like,
Oh no.
Yeah, they're the winners. Period. At the end of the day,
yeah.
because he got a $30 million payout, and I think Shroud got 10 or something
did
like
they
that.
get contracts to come back, or was that not really a?
I don't
I don't
know.
even
I
need it.
don't know how the whole coming back process worked on all of that. I do know they were offered new contracts when they came back.
Hmm.
I do know that. So my two questions on that, and I do want to ask this question here. And this is actually from Beardly Alive. Do you feel like there's going to be a lot of changes in the streaming industry this year, with everything that may have happened in 2020 with mixers being shut down, or coronavirus happening, and a lot more people flocking to streaming, or even with the new? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it DMCA? What did we go over,
Mhm.
Jet, with the words that I'm not gonna say because I don't want something to happen to this video that may
Are you
start
talking about are you talking about when they
with the words that you can't use, like the
yeah,
SIMP?
they banned P
Oh.
and P and P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your what do you think about all that?
I feel like there's probably going to be more streamers definitely this year, not only from a technology and console standpoint now, but also because of the pandemic. Just like I'm sure there's been a huge influx since people have been home. And I
Mhm.
think that's only going to either continue, if not rise.
I like that.
Absolutely agree. The only thing Twitch needs to get a handle on this DMCA stuff,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of stuff that people are getting hit for that, like some of it's not even copyrighted. Like that's a lie. I have like a lot of stuff on mine that's copyrighted, but I only get muted. So like it's different levels, and there's not one strict path of like, hey, don't play this like on this or whatever. There's no rules. Like there's like,
Yeah.
just don't do it.
I think they need to have something that there's a lot of people that are coming new to the platform that maybe like they're streaming off their console, or they're brand new to streaming, or have no idea what DMCA means, and
Yeah.
maybe there should be some more tools or references out there to educate those people so they don't get in trouble, because maybe they have fantastic combat or content, but they're not they're not learning the right way.
Right.
Kind of like YouTube. If you get hit, then they explain to you. If you
Yeah.
guys ever post a video with the wrong music, it explains to you what's going on.
Oh, Michael, let's do it, dude.
What are we doing?
Let's test YouTube.
I already have, and we haven't gotten any strikes. We've gotten copyrighted.
Yeah.
I think
Hell yeah.
one of them was for we did a trailer reaction, and the other one was I put the Star Wars intro music or whatever in one of the videos or whatever, and it got it was a couple warnings. It wasn't nothing bad. And there's a way to do it. You have to time it just right and cut out certain parts of it and stuff like that, right? Yeah, if it's under 10 seconds, they think they don't hit you with it, so to be able to cut out parts of videos. But it was kind of hard to do that with like a 1 minute trailer.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the fact that like in Cyberpunk or any of these games, really, the fact that you get hit with strikes based on music from the soundtrack within the game. Like I had the Call of Duty Modern Warfare menu up, and my video got muted just because it was sitting on the menu with the music.
Oh, see, that's a bummer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sucks.
yeah, because isn't there a setting inside that where you can go in and turn it off, like if you're a streamer?
For Cyberpunk, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can turn off nudity and you can reduce the soundtrack.
That's
Okay.
still so silly.
Yeah.
All right. Last story of the evening. And I don't really think I need to hit on. I'm not really going to hit on an article about this because I think we know a lot about it already. Now I know you don't necessarily play on console, but what were your thoughts on the new console releases this year or last year? I guess I'd say.
Oh, like the Xbox and the PlayStation 5?
Mm-hmm.
Man, did every website ever mess up?
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Hey, you can
Yeah.
order now. No, you can't. Well, yes, you can, but no, you can't.
Oh wait, it's in your cart, but no, you go to hit purchase.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not there anymore.
What's what's the insurance
almost
commercial?
had
He's
a
like,
pain getting it.
almost had it.
Almost had it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Well, we'll start off with something small. What did you think of the designs?
Both of them are ridiculous.
You didn't like the
In my
Xbox?
no, like it being called like a mini fridge. It's just hilarious to me because
See,
that's
I'm,
exactly what it looks like. I don't know.
Of
I was
course.
expecting something different.
I think the Xbox. I'm not an Xbox. I'm a Sony fanboy. Always will be.
Same.
Even though we're playing most of our games on PC. But I'm also a Corsair fan, and this looked like a ripoff of their Corsair case. I forget what it's called, but it's like that square design, which I like. The PlayStation one looked kind of crazy, but at the same time, if anyone had a PS4, or
It's like a
PS4
big ass
Pro,
router.
yeah, the old PS4s were so loud because of heat. So I'm like, if this big white thing is going to be quieter because it's getting bigger or better airflow, then I'm about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
we
that
can
was
get
like-
better
They
hands
took
on
most of the storage out, so it should have plenty of airflow.
it. Yeah.
Spec wise, what did we think?
Spec wise,
Yeah,
I think for the price, it's
pretty
right
pretty
there.
much hits the nail on the head. Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of people complaining about the storage, the cost of the expanded storage, which I know on the PS5 you can't you could buy it, but you can't put it in. Like it's not available yet.
Mhm.
With the
And then
features in there.
Xbox comes with their own like $200 like 1 terabyte proprietary expandable piece or whatever.
Exactly, but they're similar to what PCI Gen 4 would cost. I think it's right there on the PlayStation, or
Mhm.
if you just buy PCI Gen 4.
Right.
Or,
And then they're
NVMe's.
gonna what Sony has it now where you have to buy like these Sony proprietary like NVMe cards and things like that.
Mhm.
Just so stupid.
Yeah,
There's an episode of me going off about that. If you guys want,
bro, it was great.
God, dumbest shit. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Do you see yourself getting one in the future at all?
I think so. I think once a game comes along, I'm more of a. Some of the games I want to play aren't out yet, like Final Fantasy 16.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like about it off the top of my head. So if I can only play the game on PS5, then I'll gravitate towards that. But other than that, I kind of like with PC right now. That's where all the games we play are.
Okay, awesome.
We're gonna have to get one though, because our 9-year-old won't shut up about
Oh yeah,
it.
our 9-year-old's like, "We get a PS5." I'm like, "Mom and Dad want a
He's
PS5."
got
So
a 4-year-old
once we
asking
figure that
for
out.
one now. Like what?
My 7-year-old has my 1X in his room.
See?
Just because
loving it,
like, what's up?
is he loving it though?
He is loving it because the way I look at it is, so he primarily plays on his Switch, but there's a lot of games on his Switch that he wants to play that aren't necessarily on Nintendo. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just move the 1X into your room, and I've got Game Pass, so I don't have to buy you games all the time. You have over 100 games here you can download from Game Pass. Just go with it, have fun.
I'm moving into Michael's house.
So yeah.
Our
Lord.
9-year-old has our PlayStation 4 Pro, so
Yeah,
yeah, we're right there with
exactly.
you. It's like
Yeah.
every other week. Can we get this game? Can I get
Mhm.
this game? Chill out, man.
Yeah.
Finish one whole game.
Yes.
And then he does, and then now I have to buy him a new one.
I remember being a kid, and my mom would take me to a movie gallery, and she would rent me a game for the weekend, and I would have till the end of the weekend to beat it before she returned it. So I think that's how like I got so good at games now, being able to beat them so quick. Because I would have like a certain time frame to beat them within.
God, that was the day, dude.
It was
Friday
the day.
night game rentals were the best.
Yeah, like going to Blockbuster and just like
Yep.
getting it from the cashier, walking through the metal detector, and getting home and then popping open the little plastic case. And you're like, oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
And the person before you scratched the fucking disc or something.
No.
Fuckers.
Turn that dream into a nightmare real quick.
Yep.
That's good.
All right, everybody, we're running on the last few minutes here of the Rundown podcast this week with Not Your Parents. Does anybody in the chat, gaming related, have anything that they want to add or ask while we still have a few minutes left here? And by the way, please don't go anywhere. Right after this, we will be doing the retrospect where we're going to interview them and get a little bit more to know about them on the gaming side of things and, you know, what they grew up playing and, you know, why they stream and do what they do now. So, please. Electro Cut. Was your question about the audio? I believe your question was about their audio.
Oh no, that was one. It was about battle royales.
Yeah.
Oh, it was battle royale games. Okay, yes.
Yeah, he was talking about how between like Warzone and Apex and stuff like that, how we would feel about a Halo battle royale.
Yep, that was it.
I think that would be really awesome if you're a Halo fan.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, old school people, would come out of the woodwork to play that.
That's honestly something they could probably release as a free drop, and
Yeah.
you know, just be the Fortnite seasonal fucking model. Everyone buys the skins, and
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it'd be cool, especially if you're. I just feel like with everything else and all the other battle royales, especially with Call of Duty, why wouldn't Halo come out with one?
Yeah.
Seems only natural.
Yeah.
That they would.
Makes sense. Cage Dism 89. Without spoilers, how does everyone feel about what took Game of the Year?
Oh, about what took Game of the Year. Okay, I actually have a question to add on to that also. Did you have a Game of the Year for 2020?
Ooh. For me, Left 4 Dead 2.
Okay.
Or are we talking about like new games?
No, just whatever in 2020.
That was my favorite game in 2020.
There we go.
We're
Okay.
talking about The Last of Us 2, just wiping everything clean.
So yeah, Last of Us 2 did take Game of the Year, yeah.
You were rooting for Ghost of Tsushima personally. Michael was actually rooting for Ghost of Tsushima as well.
I was.
I mean, that is an awesome game.
And what's so funny to me about that game was all the other places out there, like IGN and Game Informer and all those places, like they all voted Ghost of Tsushima as their Game of the Year, but Last of Us Part 2 won it at the Video Game Awards.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did you feel about Last of Us 2 taking Game of the Year?
I liked it a lot. I know it's controversial to like that game, depending on the conversation.
So
but
bright.
for me, I played it and then took a break right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of the pacing issues people had. I don't know if I could truly review that without going back and playing the whole game over again.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have a problem with it. I feel like if you like the first one, then the second one was fine. But I would have to go back and play it again. But I'm surprised Ghost didn't take more awards.
For sure.
Did you play Ghost?
I watched some of the people in your chat right now actually play a lot of it.
Nice. I loved it. So that was a game that I personally did not think that I was going to like as much as I did. And then I played it and I'm like, holy shit, like there's so many stories. There's so much I can do. Graphically, it was amazing. I was like, this story I didn't think I was going to like as much as I did. And I fell in love with that game. And I actually platinumed it.
Oh, wow. See, that's how I felt about it too. Watching people play it, I was like, man, I'm actually invested in this a little bit. Like I'm gonna keep watching. I'm gonna keep
Mhm.
seeing what's going on. But yeah, it's beautiful. That would be one of those games if I got a PS5, I'd go back and play, or like maybe some like Last of Us 2. Just
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
No, I was just gonna ask, did we have anything else?
Yeah, let's. How many of you liked Horizon Zero Dawn? Or excited about the second one?
This guy.
This
I
guy.
loved it.
I
Yes.
love
Loved
that
I
game.
didn't play it, but I watched him play it. And I
Oh my
liked it,
gosh,
as
that-
sure.
That's another one I didn't think I was gonna like because it looked very. I don't know. It looked
Yeah.
weird in the beginning. This is story, but man, once it started unfolding, I was like, oh, I love
That
this
was
so
one
much.
game that kept me on the edge of my seat the whole entire time I played it.
Mhm.
They released the first one on PC. Is the second one exclusive to PlayStation
Oh, that's a
in
good
the
question.
beginning, or are they gonna drop it on
I don't know.
both?
I don't know.
That's
We
a
can
good
only
question.
hope.
Man,
Oh.
Like I never finished the game, but I did have a lot of fun with it. I quit playing it and then I went back and because I'd forgotten everything, because old. But I went back and started replaying it, and man, I was having fun, dude. It's a really really fun game. That crafting on the fly type thing too. I like that a
yeah.
lot.
All right. Well, I think that will about wrap up this week's episode of the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate each and every single one of you that had joined us today. As always, Jeff will take us out of here.
Oh, all right, cool deal.
He acts like he doesn't do this on a weekly basis.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget, we're jumping right into the rundown retrospect with Not Your Parents GNS. In just a couple minutes after here.
Get
Guys,
up,
thank
take
you
a
so
bathroom break, all that good stuff.
Thank you so much for being on here. Where can we find you guys?
me.
Me and you?
Yeah,
Motherphone Brit?
simultaneously.
Just type in that a lot. It'll find us. We're on Not Your Parents GNS on everything basically except Twitter. We're NYP GNS.
Yeah, they only have a long name on Twitter apparently.
No, they're
Yeah.
rude as hell.
We're on Twitch, GNS on Instagram. We stream Tuesday when we take Monday and Thursday off. So
Okay.
we're on at 8:30 usually Pacific time.
Specifically Pacific time.
Can I pretty please get y'all to do me a favor for me?
Yes.
Can you send me those links in a message somewhere so that I can post them in the YouTube video in a couple of days?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
yeah.
you.
Alright. Thank you for having us on here.
No, thank you. I enjoyed this. Like, see, I enjoyed this
I know.
so much. Look like I'm going to jury duty.
He kept that attitude. He's gonna be going to divorce court.
Oh.
At least he's already dressed.
That's right. No, actually, I have this because I used to work at Ruth Chris, and this is what we'd have to wear.
Oh yeah, you still owe me a steak from that motherfucking place.
That motherfucking place closed down thanks to Corona.
I'll pick another place then.
Whatever you want,
don't
buddy.
Don't sell $200 steaks. You won't close down.
Yeah, no shit, dude. You can go to Brex and get a steak that big for like fucking $10.
No, you can get a piece of fat that big for.
It was the experience.
Yeah.
I hate Rex, dude.
It's not the best.
Evan, where can we find you, bud?
You can find me on Big Deadly Grin at Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. I have no streaming schedule, so that's one of my goals this year, though. So once my work schedule hopefully changes, I will dial that in.
Sweet, sounds good. Michael, where are you at, dude?
I am everywhere at Twizzler803. Twitch, Instagram. What are the other ones? There's so many of them out now, and so many I got to keep track of. But yeah, pretty much all of them. Just Twizzler803. I do need to just put in a little side note here. So real quick, as of next week, I will not be here. Next weekend's episode. I will not be here. I will be in a wedding. Jeff and Evan will be hosting the show next week. And also for everyone that has decided to follow, which I appreciate more than anything in the world, this channel will no longer be named Twizzler803 because I have been doing everything off my personal channel. This channel will roll straight into the Rundown Podcast. So that's going to be the name of of this channel. I will have my own separate gaming channel where I can do my own stuff, but this channel right here will be dedicated to the Rundown Podcast. So if you see the name change and you can't find me on here, well, that's why.
So we got to go through another crazy Michael name change.
Mm-hmm.
Annual.
Annual. Right.
And I'm the Hefe Plays on everything: Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn,
GreasyGamer.com.
GreasyGamer.com. Also, next week we got a very special guest as well. Miss Linarius will be joining us. We'll be on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you tune in for that. And like I said, we're jumping right into the retrospect right after this. So make sure you guys hang out and stay tuned and have some questions ready. All right. But with that being said, dude, see y'all next week.
And remember, don't be a dick.
Wear your mask.
Don't be a dick.